G'day viewers, Jeff from McPhee's Gardening, Melbourne, Australia. Nice to be back on the YouTube again. I've been pretty busy, so it's been a bit of a delay between my videos at the moment. I should be slowing down, but with COVID backlog of work, we just can't keep up. It's just so much work at the moment, and which is a good thing. Anyway, today's video is about good and bad customers and how this affects the business. Bad customers, to cull them out of your business is just as important in having the right equipment, the right marketing for your business, the right schedule, the right process. It's just as important. So what we need to do is identify the bad customers and do something about it. A bad customer turns your day into crap. If you've got a row of bad customers, you're going to hate going to work, you're going to hate doing the job, you're going to get frustrated, you're going to get mad with yourself. And what happens, you can end up making a mistake, you can end up having an accident because you're rushing the job. It's very important to get rid of bad customers. Now, when I first started, I had my fair share and I was desperate to start the business off, and I'd take on any work. Just as a bit of a tip for the newcomers, learn how to identify a bad customer and do something about it in the early stages, because if you don't, you're going to be in some grief. So how do we determine a good customer and a bad customer? Well, we all know the good ones, of course, but the bad ones, they can range from having a dog in the backyard, kids' toys, wanting to change the schedule all the time, slow paying, maybe having the clothes on the clothesline, locked gates, cars on the nature strip on the front path, and probably the worst bad customer, I think, is disrespect. Now, when I roll up to that door for a quote, I'll show my respect to the potential customer, and I expect that in return. I'm not a lawnmower man, I'm not just a gardener, I'm not working for a measly couple of dollars an hour. I'm running a business, I'm proud of my business, and I expect respect just as like any other business, whether it's a carpenter, a plumber, whether it's Bunnings or a large retail store. I'm a business as well, and I expect respect. How do we identify a bad customer? Now, obviously, when we rock up to the gate, the door, we say to the customer, they're asking for a quote. You're going to have a look around. Now, you've probably had a bit of an idea as you come up to the front door. You've seen that other contractors. You can tell a contractor's lawn and a normal client lawn, and you say to them, "Oh, you had contractors in the past, gardeners," and they said, "Oh yes, the last bloke, he kept putting his price up." So the alarm bells are starting to spring up here. Oh, any others? Oh yeah, the one before, he just was so unreliable, and the other one, he just mowed it when it didn't need mowing, and it'd sort of go on, and you think, aha, we got a problem here. Yet there's some others where they'll say, oh, the previous guy's retired, or you can see that the previous contractor was doing a crap job. The edges weren't done properly, they were really messy, and you could see the quality of work wasn't there. So you just got to judge and make sure that you pick the customer that's it hasn't gone through 4 or 5 different contractors prior to you, and it'll always be a discrepancy in the price, the quality of the work, the expectations, etc. So when you detail your work to the customer, make sure that it's detailed thoroughly and they understand what they're going to get. Okay, so we've dealt with the contract a bit. Now, when we roll up to the door, we hear the dog barking. So we may have a problem here. We go around to the back of the customer, potential customer, and they say, we have a dog. Now, if it's a big dog, that's going to mean problems, isn't it? Like, there's going to be crap everywhere. Now, if that customer hasn't picked the crap up for you on quotation, he's not going to do it when you're mowing the lawn. He might do it for the first time. It's going to be a problem. So straight away, my rules are: listen, I'm really not keen on dogs. If there is any mess in the backyard from the dog, I won't be mowing the back lawn, but you'll still be charged. Now, if they don't like it, or if they don't provide that commitment to have that removed, well, we'll move on. The other customers are the late payers. Um, First time you're okay, second time getting a bit slow, the third time, so we're going to start chasing. Rules are, okay, you've accepted the quote now, how are we going to pay? They'll say, oh, cash. Okay, so where are we going to leave the cash if you're not home? Because I don't want to be coming back for the cash. If it's not there, we've got a problem. So generally I'd rather EFT. Now I'll send an invoice that day. As soon as I leave the job, I'll send the invoice, and I'll say to the customer, listen, I'd like to be paid, if you can do it, when you get home that night or the next day, but no longer. Businesses, obviously commercial, 14 days, no longer. We all got cash flow problems. We always got to have the cash running to run a business. We don't want to be having money owed. So that's something you've got to crack straight onto. A bad customer will be a bad payer, and get rid of them. It's just not worth having. It really affects your turnover or your cash, your ready-made cash that you need. The other guys that can cause problems are the ones that have young kids, toys everywhere. Now, again, you'll know when you quote if the yard's untidy, or if the first mow you'll see toys and you've got to start picking up. You've got to crack down on that, because that's going to take time. It's going to add 5-10 minutes onto your job, and you get a couple of those for the day and you're in trouble. Little kids, it is hard, I know, because the mothers have got a lot of things to do, and they're very time poor. So I guess there is some little consideration you've got to have for it, but you still, you still got to sort of, educate them to have the stuff removed. And of course, the worst thing with the kids is trampolines. I won't move trampolines. I'll say to them, listen, if you get husband to move it prior to me coming the next day, no worries. If not, I'll just mow around it or whip a snippet. But I'm not going to move. I'm not going to get a hernia from moving a great big trampoline. So you need to deal with that. If there's long grass going up underneath, not my problem. So you really got to be specific on that one. The other guys can be a problem, the pedantic customers that keep changing the schedule. Oh, look, can you come on a Wednesday? I've got to go out on Tuesday, or and all the time rescheduling. Or they may find, I don't need it cut this time. Can you come back next time? Or they may be pedantic in, you left 3 leaves on the front lawn, and a couple little clippings are flooding on top of the swimming pool. Those are the ones you really got to be careful of, because they can really ground you into the ground, and that gets back to the respect aspect. Sure, look, if you are messy and all that, you deserve a kick up the bum, but if you're a good operator and running a successful business, you won't be doing that. The other problem childs, I guess, to deal with is the ones that have locked gates. Now, obviously, the first 2 or 3 visits, they've got to get your trust to make sure that you're okay. Before they give you a key, but I insist on keys or spare remotes, and I can always organise a spare remote. We can program it into their remote, so they don't have to go and buy one. I'll go and get that, but every time the customer's always giving me a spare remote, because the good customer is when you roll up, you open the garage door, or you unlock the gate, mow the lawn, do what's required, and leave the bill, and not a problem to be had. Whereas a bad customer, it's time, I mentioned in a previous video the mow-only guys that have 120, 150 customers, and, every night they're texting, oh, can you please leave the gate unlocked? I'm coming tomorrow, and you do 5, 6, 7, 8 times a day with that, and it just drives you nuts. So that's something else I really look out for is, access to the properties. I think that's so important. Thanks for watching, and I'll hopefully have another episode of probably hedging next time. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and my main objective was to try to explain the difference between the good and bad customers, but more importantly, how it affects your business and some of the things you can do. I'd be interested to hear some comments of how how you've got bad customers and how you dealt with them, and I'll be very interested. Okay, we'll see you later. Bye.